All right, welcome into our latest Bengals training camp recap. It is day 5. This is going to get harder to do as we have to
I
do a
know.
second hand tomorrow.
We
But
could do I can do 5 and you can do 2 for 12.
yeah, we'll work that out. You wait till you see how good it's going to be. That's tomorrow. Today it is day 5, light day. Admittedly, a day you had a bunch of vets kind of sitting out and taking it easy. Pads do come on tomorrow. Think everything kind of expected to pick up at that point. So not a ton that happened today, but we find stuff.
Yes.
We will always find stuff for you. You know how it goes. Takeaway, play, and a thing they say. Jay, what do
There
you
we
got?
go. Another rhyme. So are we going to start with takeaways?
Go for it.
There. So one of the guys that was not practicing today or not going in team drills was B.J. Hill. And when the offense and the defense are doing their 11 on 11, it's always the defense is on the sideline, the offense is back behind the play, watching what's going on. Today it looked like B.J. Hill was an honorary member of the offense. He's back there, and he's right up against Frank Pollock, the offensive line coach, and they're talking to each other. And so I asked him about it afterward, and he said he's trying to get – Frank said that B.J. was trying to get a bird's eye view. He's really trying to coach Chris Jenkins up, and he's trying to see what he's doing from that perspective, and then they're asking each other if they're tipping each other off. And Frank said, if you find anything that we're tipping off, I know you guys talk in the locker room, just save it for like a week because it's going to get real competitive here when the pads go on tomorrow and after that. So I just thought it was really interesting watching BJ there kind of in a coach's role. The guys get a day off, but they don't actually take a day off. They just find other ways to work.
Yeah, and you know what? At some point, those tips can come a long way in helping out each other. I like that. Mine is kind of on something that Zach Taylor said when he did his press conference with us today, and that was everything leads up to tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we've talked a lot about country club Bengals and this guy's sitting out and look at all these vets aren't participating. We talked about that a lot yesterday. Yeah. I think this has all been when he talks about the ramp up period and being proactive and trying to make sure that everybody's ready to go. It's about tomorrow. Really, their entire practice program builds to tomorrow, about everybody being ready so that the rookies feel like they are comfortable in knowing what's going on. All of what they've done, how they've installed things, has been about leading everyone up to feel that they can hit go at 100 miles per hour when the pads come on tomorrow. We can start to make the real judgments now. Whereas before, it's there's been a caveat. It's been this build of, we'll see, and we're not really doing it yet. And don't go judging the running backs, and we can't even talk about linemen and that. All of that because it builds to everything really starting tomorrow. It really goes for real. And so I think you're going to see that where the entire thing is going to take off as they put the pads on tomorrow.
Yeah, and you get a little extra juice the day before an off day anyhow. So they're off Wednesday, so they get the pads. You get the boost from putting the pads on tomorrow and knowing they're going to have an off day Wednesday. So if you're looking for a day to come down to practice, tomorrow would be a good one to show up.
No question. All right, what's your play today?
So the play, Joe Burrow did not participate later in the practice. This was all part of they went 2 days on, 1 day off for the first 3. They don't want to take him off tomorrow when the pads go on. It's such a big practice. They dialed him back today. So he was not participating in the final red zone 11 on 11. So there was a play late in that period where Logan Woodside threw a pass and Charlie Jones went up and plucked it out of the air over undrafted rookie cornerback Lance Robinson, who's made some impressive plays in this camp, got both feet down. I think Lance at first thought he broke it up. He seemed pretty excited when he popped up, but everybody else was coming over to Charlie. Charlie's had a rough couple days. It was a big moment for him to come down with that pass.
Yeah, really. We've seen a couple of plays. He had one in that exact spot in the corner of the end zone the other day that he couldn't quite get his foot down on to come down with. So to make that play, I'm sure was a nice redemptive moment. You mentioned it's been a tough couple of days. I'll take Charlie Jones on the flip side. Busy day for him today. And that was running a jet sweep, gets the ball, and then all of a sudden, boop, ball pops out, goes bouncing around, defense comes up with, and all you hear is the defense yelling from the other side, our hopes and dreams are inside of that ball. Just giving them a hard time because it's a thing that they've been saying, and that's the type of stuff when you're in a position that Charlie Jones is in, really grinding and battling to find spots in a crowded room. I mean, you got Yoshivash, who's been the star of camp. You've got Jermaine Burton and the hype that he comes with. You have Mr. Reliable Trent Irwin trying to scratch out a spot if you're Charlie Jones is tough. And those are the types of plays that get deposited in the memory bank of coaches when they start making final decisions. And so for the good, you got to eliminate the bad. So up and down day for Charlie Jones on some of the big plays.
Up and down day in the two regards, because I went up to talk to him in the locker room afterward, and he's scrolling his phone. He was intently looking at his phone forever, and I didn't want to interrupt if it was something serious. He finally looks over. He's like, "Do you want to talk to me?" I was like, "Yeah," but I didn't want to interrupt anything. He's like, "Oh, no, I'm just on Amazon." He just moved into a new place. Last night was his first night in the new place, and he's still trying to buy furniture. And he was talking about what a great time it is, but also what a maddening, frustrating time it is trying to get all that together. So they're just like us.
Just like us, furniture shopping on Amazon. Man, maybe he goes to Wayfair. Maybe that's where he's going next after that. Like IKEA. Yeah. Don't go driving up to IKEA, Charlie. If we can give you any tips, don't go up to IKEA and try to get it. It's a lot of work. It's more work than you want it to be. You need to get the delivery, have them put it together for you. All right. See, you learn everything here. We take care of you. We're here to take care of you. Thing they say. What do you got?
So today in the press conference, Zach's sitting right here, and we used to have a sheet where we would, if you asked a question, and someone said, "Oh, that's a good question," and we would keep track of who had them. And Paul was always the leader.
I don't know about that.
I got one from Zach today, and you mentioned it earlier, where he said everything ramps up today, and he was talking about the guys not practicing. He said anybody that's healthy is going to practice tomorrow. And I tried to follow up with this question, but this was an aggressive day. It was a busy NFL Network was here. There's a lot of people just shouting questions, and I couldn't get this in. So it came way later in the press conference. And I said, "You said earlier, everybody that's healthy is going to practice tomorrow. Does that include Jamar?" And it caught Zach totally off guard. He had to think about it. He admitted, he said, "Oh, that's a great question." And then he went back to his line of, "We have a plan." And then he talked about his brother pressing him about this plan, this alleged plan on what is this plan exactly with Jamar. So I wasn't trying to make it a gotcha moment or anything, but it did kind of catch him. And I think he thought, oh yeah, he thought he was working around this whole Jamar thing. And then he made a little mistake when he said everybody healthy is going to practice.
Well, I mean, how many different angles? It was a Jamar question from here, the Jamar question from here. And how many different ways can this be phrased to try to get something? And you look, Jamar is not participating, and we all know why, and he's trying to run interference and protection. And the lines that we're currently going with is that, look, there's a plan, and I'm comfortable with the communication that we've had.
Same page.
That's where they're going with it right now. That's what it is. And so there was any number of different ways to try to take shots and to try to make that happen, and that was the closest. You broke him there for a second. You broke him there for a second, but he did revert back. And look, I think it's just, we all know what it is at this point.
Yeah.
Mine is that I was talking to a few different people about Amarius Mims. Pads come on tomorrow. We can really start to judge the offensive lineman. Trent Brown has not participated. Mims has gotten all the reps. We're not supposed to be judging these offensive linemen at this point, but where is he? And one thing that stood out to me from Ted Karras talking about him said, the thing is, for a rookie, he hasn't made those FUBAR mental mistakes. Yeah. And if you're not military, don't know that acronym, feel free to go and look it up. But it's the ones where you're just like, what the hell is going on? And Frank Pollock kind of said that too. Well, look, he's very conscientious. He wants to get everything dead on right, and he just doesn't, because he's a rookie and he's never even seen some of this stuff before. That's not really the issue. But he said, I'm really happy with where he is at. And it becomes really big for him starting tomorrow, because he wants him to stop thinking and start unleashing and playing fast and use this freakish athleticism that you have and use it to your advantage here and see what that looks like, and don't get caught being slow, overthinking it and worrying about too much stuff. How does he really use his physicality now that he's going to be allowed to do it? They like where he's at. He's in a good spot. I mean, I still think it's a coin flip between him and Trent Brown at this point, but a lot of positive reviews from what you have seen, from what you could gauge from Amarius Mims, considering all the reps that he's gotten. And I think if you know that he's doing pretty well with the mental aspect, you probably feel pretty good if once he starts unleashing it, that he won't have a problem unleashing the physical aspect, because we know that's something that he has in spades as much as anybody else. in football. All right. Well, we've hyped up tomorrow's practice as much
Yes.
as we possibly can. But really, from this point forward, it gets fun because it's not just this practice. You'll get into the game on the 10th. You will get into, of course, the joint practice in Chicago, game in Chicago. It's all really starting to happen, and that is going to be a ton of fun. All right. Thanks to all of you that have been checking in with these every day. We'll be back tomorrow to give you a full recap of everything that happens in this anticipated practice amongst the rest of them as we continue to do this after every single day here at Paycor Stadium. So thanks for watching or listening. We'll talk to you next time.